which it's what everybody wants. I heard people said that they were going to leave if we didn't bring more PvP, and that's why we've got more. So we got your back. In the bottom left of Inside and Out, we have the red Protoss player. He is ForJumy.
Top right-hand side, our blue Protoss player is DnS.
Fun day of games, huh? Fun day of games, huh, Wardy?
Yeah, man. Today's been fun. I feel like a little bit faster, especially the ones I've casted so far. However, this is one of the PvPs. You know, you get those PvPs, like, you know, the last one I thought was going to be kind of quick one way or the other. This is a PvP I look at and I'm like, oh god, like this could actually take forever because, you know, DnS is happy to play long games. We've seen ForJumy play long games. You know, to me, this is something that could happen in this PvP, absolutely. So that's not a bad thing. Just something to look forward to, perhaps.
Yeah. And to be fair, the PvPs have all been pretty unique, standing out on their own. I do got to give a low-key shout-out because we were talking about it during that break. As I'm sure if you're watching through the ads, you got to see that King Cobra game against Daryl. Just looked kind of ridiculous. He really is great at that analogy, like just dragging somebody down to your level and beating them with experience. I don't think he gets a map against him, but I was very impressed that he had gotten the game past the 15-minute mark. Certainly an achievement on its own.
You know, it's just funny because it's like we're in one break and it's like there's a cannon rush on the screen. Then we have this wild interview with Drogo. We do a little bit of talk. We come back and it's just like, what? They're 15 minutes in. It's like, it's like we missed all the bits in between. It's just like both parts were absolute spectacles to watch. So yeah, very fun.
It's got the Stargate out somewhere. It won't be scoutable by this probe that is now trapped inside of ForJumy's base. And what a legendary interview, by the way. Just gotta say against Drogo, because it's like I didn't know I actually had this match. I was watching anime till 3 a.m, partying, and then the sun came up, and I got a text message from Sinestro like, "Bro, your match is up." And he's like, "Okay, I guess this is it." And then comes in and wins, but.
You know, it was just a fun, kind of weird interview to begin with, and then at the end, he's just like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm gonna explain why."
Yeah.
Loved it.
He's always been such a funny guy. It's cool to see him kind of go from that, you know, being a very intense, very, very, very about the competition, overly serious, angry kind of guy, and now he's just funny. I love it. We have Stargate finishing up as well for DnS. So, I mean, the Phoenix could end up revealing itself at some point, but it's not like. Well, I don't really know. He is going to go Oracle first, so maybe the Phoenix are able to catch it. Maybe that's the edge ForJumy is looking for. He does have Stalkers in his main to deal with an Oracle, however, and I mean he's also locked inside of his base. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I kind of like the Oracle opening. You know, it's one of those things which, in the past, I feel like we always would have been like, oh, the Phoenix, but nowadays an Oracle really can still dive in and do a lot. And it can obviously just, you know, it's only bad if the Phoenix catches it like straight away. But right now, you're going to pull units down to the low ground because of the Stalkers that are here, putting on some pressure. So the combination makes this Oracle kind of good even against the Phoenix. We're going to depower Warp Gate and 2 gateways. That is really bad. As he has to make shots off with these Stalkers, but now the Phoenix show up. The Oracle maybe a stasis ward in the main. There is a battery there, so one Oracle shouldn't make too much of a difference. But obviously,
he can't build a battery in the natural. Because of the pylon you mentioned, that was a huge pickoff, Wardy.
Yeah, actually, the Stalkers are going to continue doing a lot here as the Oracle is going to have this battery in the main base drained, and now we just recall away, and the next pylon goes down.
Another one.
Warp Gate. Oh,
no warp gate for you. Keep building those Phoenix ForJumy. There's not anything else that he can do right now. And I was wondering when we're going to see more units come up for DnS, and he's just like, I could do this all day as long as the Stalkers are hugging this cybernetics core. Wow. Game 1. That's well.
Okay.
You know what? I have the spin. Another PvP that definitely is not like the others we've seen in this week's games.
Yeah. You know,
certainly another unique one.
I just love ForJumy's camera there as well, because you can see on his face as each pylon dies, like, huh. it's really going to be like this, huh? He's like, I'm not believing it. I won't stand for it. I won't let this. No, it's happening. No, it's definitely still happening. He's like, I actually just can't recover from this, can I? And that slow kind of realization. It's my bad, Nate. You know, I was like, this would be a long series, 4.5-minute game. We love it.
Yeah, that's just one of those tough things. I don't know. I'm not even sure. What is there to say? So we'll just
it's faster. It's over.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you try to build 3 pylons at once, and then you still don't have enough units, so it doesn't really matter because you spend all your money on pylons. But whatever. Okay, we're going to waterfall, and we can, have
a better game.
Let's
maybe.
see. Yes. Your words, not mine.
I mean, there's only so much fun you can have when ForJumy can walk across the map and kill the man's pylon.
It's Saturday. We're having fun. We're playing some games, and this guy in the top right, he's ForJumy. That's Berserker Esports. Cute.
Yeah, awesome team, by the way. Really fun team. Lots of good players on there. Excited to see them in some team league action now and again. They're a fun group of players. In the bottom left, currently T-list. He was en route, but he decided to leave to pursue other opportunities. Not announced a team yet. It is DnS. DnS always a very nice guy to talk to as well, and get to chat with. Always very excited to play in events as well. DnS is one of these low-key grinders. I feel like he doesn't play so much that it's crazy, but every time he gets a chance to play in an event, he's always like, oh man, yeah, I'd love to play. And also, that was very cool about DnS.
He's one of those players that if you've been following professional StarCraft for any length of time, you see him everywhere.
Yeah,
he's constantly working on his craft. He's competing in all the online qualifiers. He's competing. You're seeing him in the weeklies, and even in tournaments like this, he's still up there, given what for in these group stages. Hasn't had as many of those big breakouts for someone that's been playing as long as he has, but still his consistency is something to be admired. And he is here competing with the best of the best. And well, it has not been an easy time, of course. These groups in Europe in general, very, very competitive. And he's on that bubble, right? 5th place. Shadone just a little bit ahead of him, but not too many matches left. A 2-0 here would be nice. He is going to play Shadone tomorrow. So assuming that he wins this match, if he's able to do that, especially with a 2-0, then that series kind of just decides it for him. And he might be able to take that step into the playoffs. But it's definitely going to need him to start with a win here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. These players in this group B, all these Protoss players sandwiched between the 2 Zergs, have really been making a scrap forward. And of course, like you say, these 2 are kind of worse for wear when it comes to everyone, but one of them gets that guaranteed win. And then, I mean, when you look ahead to tomorrow, DnS plays Shadone. That's a very winnable match for him. Not easy, but winnable. And for ForJumy plays Bly, who's the one player below him in the group. So it could completely turn the group around, but you really have to win this one and that one tomorrow. There's no way that just winning tomorrow after losing the day is going to do it for you, I don't think.
Yeah. So lots of opportunities still available, and DnS gets the Adept inside of the main base. So trying to see, is there anything funky? Is there anything I need to have my eye on? Get a couple of probes. That is definitely nice. This is going to put him ahead just a little smidge. And that Zealot for ForJumy that tried to take down the pylon of DnS, well, it fails to do so. Just kind of gets through the shields. And then we see the Oracle boot up. Well, I mean, he's already got an Oracle, but he's got another Oracle coming up.
Yeah, this one tries to get in, but will not do too well. The Stalkers deflect straight away. Just going to be seeing the Twilight Council building on both sides. Nexus coming through. Just waiting for the Oracles. I mean, 2 together can be dangerous, and DnS already has the lead, so I love this for DnS, because it does feel as though he's the one with all the kind of the driver's seat in this game so far.
Yeah, Stalker comes up, takes one shot at the pylon up the ramp. Okay, he mild rush of anxiety kind of rushes through there. And like you said, 2 oracles together, you can actually damage through the shield battery. Now the stalkers are in the natural and the main. They're split up for ForJumy. He knows what he needs to do here. The zealot stalker come up the ramp to try and distract, and that's going to open it up for 4 probes to get picked off. Does kill one of the oracles, however, so that definitely hurts for DnS. That he's killed a decent amount of workers across this game, Wardy. He's gotten 9 to just 1. So he's making a little bit more money. That can translate into him being able to produce more stalkers and eventually overwhelming his opponent, because we're going to Blink versus Blink. It's a little old school PvP.
It is going to be a bit of that old school PvP, isn't it? So Blink's on the way on both sides. And I mean, I kind of love it, man. It's just, ForJumy, I feel like almost needs to be kind of active, right? With his few stalkers already and trying to make something happen. I know that's scary when there's oracles on the map, but now at least there's only 1 oracle. So maybe now would be your chance. Otherwise, I mean, okay, I like this, for example, taking the faster third, just doing something to improve your position, because otherwise he was not the one in the better position here. So yeah, he's still 6 workers behind. The faster third might help offset that, but he's also got to be careful of the timing potential that DnS holds.
Yes, exactly. There's still going to be that possible pressure. And that's the other side of the Oracle opening in general, just being able to constantly threaten that at any moment when you want to bring everything to defend. If those stalkers roll up on the 3rd base, or if they're trying to poke the natural, you want to send everything. You want to use all of your units. It's a very natural way to feel. But boom, then the Oracle comes in, gets a stasis trap, 8 probes are locked up, and you're suddenly warping in 3 stalkers, your opponent is warping in 6, and you die. So these are all of the little ways that these small interactions can add up over time. And well, the 3rd base coming through does give a nice tell for a macro game. But one of the probably my favorite thing about Waterfall is that you have bases that are easy to defend, but the map itself is small enough and open enough that you can still be really aggressive and you can still get across very quickly. It's a really great balance between, yeah, it's not too hard to take the base, but also you can get really, really feisty.
Yeah. I actually been loving Waterfall. I know as a Terran, I might be a bit biased as well, but
yeah, it's absolutely cracked for Terran. Yeah, it's my favorite.
It's cracked for Terran, but it's very fun in these other matchups.
Don't ask me why I know this, Wardy, but that high ground 3rd, you can fit like 5 planetary fortresses on that at the same time. All right.
Ooh, that's
a little industry
naughty,
secret. Yeah, very naughty.
I didn't realize it was that kind of Saturday night. Stalker is going to get rid of a couple of these sentries as they back it up a little bit now, and just not actually going to get rid of that other one. It's having a bit of a rough time actually pursuing that, but I thought DnS might be able to get a bit more done. The numbers are still just falling apart for ForJumy. DnS looking great with his own 3rd up.
Not getting into a fight by the river. Some beautiful scenery as we're seeing those blinks back and forth. And you know, for ForJumy, he's the one making the investment of that +1 attack. So a little bit of money up front that comes out of his production. So he wants to rely on the shield battery to give him the defense so he can get the lead that will allow him to take better trades down the line. But DnS now has his +1 booting, so won't be too far behind, and then moving into charge. And just Zealot Stalker versus Zealot Stalker gets really weird, because then we get into like granular charge lot micro, which is not an easy thing to do when you're also trying to do blinks. Oftentimes one of the players is going into like disruptors or whatever, but for a long stretch, about is it multiple years now that it's been since it was just charge lot of Mortal Archon versus charge lot of Mortal Archon? I can't remember because of the Void Ray era, but we're kind of headed back to that, Wardy.
Yeah, it's kind of all coming back, right? As it's been very, very popular lately. I feel like there was a little while where people were like, no, let's just stick on just Stalkers for a while, but just getting into that charge and everything, and look at this again, just DnS showing the kind of power that he has, right? Just army supply lead, worker lead, and just gets in there. And it's just so annoying for ForJumy because he's already behind, and now he's the one that's kind of forced to stay behind.
Yeah, and he still has to keep units split apart for the Oracle, so that's not something that will ever change. And DnS looks like he wants to start. He like hovered it, but didn't. He canceled it at the last second. There it is. So he starts up a cannon, and I was wondering, he's thinking about what things could cost him the nice position that he's in, and he gets a cannon as well in his natural. So he's thinking about Dark Templar. He wants to take that 4th base and just do the economic powerhouse version of this build. Since he's not going to be up against disruptors, he's just like, I'll out macro you, build more units, and kill you. And that's not a bad way to take it.
No, I love it, man. Like, I think what he's doing is perfect, right? Because one of the ways you lose is attacking too heavily into like a super battery or something and losing your advantage this way. he can't get overrun himself because his army was already so strong. So if you can't get overrun yourself, why not just take the extra base, take the extra economy, bank that, and just go from there? Like, it just feels like you're minimizing the ways to lose the game. So, yeah, the only thing I think I wouldn't like right now for DnS would be if ForJumy was going into like a ton of disruptors, and then maybe he gets those out and can do something with it. But obviously, that's not really the case. We can see that. This is just one of those moments where I'm not quite sure if DnS really needs to be trying to fight, but I guess there's nothing wrong with holding the low ground if you're only losing a couple zealots.
I'm with you, though. I think there's a degree of impatience here. DnS feels like I'm in the position where I should be able to just bowl you over. But ForJumy did something very smart because he's recognized what DNS's strategy is, just kind of mass stalker with some charge lots. He's got 3 immortals, and he's got a couple archons. Those are both fantastic against everything that DNS is building. So ForJumy is taking the strategical angle because, you know, mechanically this has worked out a little bit against him. But that's okay, and it can work. It's just going to require DNS to go in at the moment when he thinks he has enough to win in one straight-up fight, but doesn't, and that's kind of where that impatience comes into play. So he takes another big blink forward, is going to grab one of the immortals, but the immortals for ForJumy need to be targeting down the stalkers across the zealots is another big part of it. He blinks his units up. There is the shield battery overcharge, and it allows him to live to fight another day. 3 of the immortals are still standing. Most of the zealots for DNS were killed. He does warp in another round as he has the prism here. But by the way, another cute thing just to point out, he's been building the stasis traps under the prism so that if he tried to blink or come in from the side, he would not be able to get it. And I mean, ForJumy's army is really nice. It's not quite as big, but I mean, he's up in army supply because of the technical side of the units. He's got those hefty immortals, but the stasis trap might be his downfall. It gets all but 2 of these immortals, but locking up 2 of them is huge.
It really, really is. I mean, one of the Archons as well. I was actually really worried about these Archons being able to just keep clearing out the Zealots so easily. But this was huge because now you get rid of some of the Archons because of it. You're going to get rid of some of these units in the low ground as well. The stasis wards, just absolutely massive. And you might not win the game right now. Gets the prism, it lifted up into the Archon or Immortal. It was something that just jumped back into it just before it died. And this is obviously huge for DNS, as he's just dismantled every advantage that ForJumy might have had, which was just in the tech units.
Could not agree more. I think DNS was trying his hardest to overextend in this game as much as he could, and then the stasis traps he just caught everything. And you catch half the most powerful units your opponent has. He's like, yes, I will blink directly onto you. And DNS comes up